Pulling off a production like The Witcher requires an army of creative individuals. From special effects, wardrobe, cinematography, and screenwriting, everyone needs to be firing on all cylinders in order to create a memorable piece of art. But what about language? So to create the elder speech you hear in the show, series creator Lauren Hissrich tapped David Peterson, the language creator responsible for Game of Thrones' Dothraki and Valyrian tongues. And I asked them how and why the hell they made a new language.
Even in fantasy, you want things to feel as realistic as possible. So we thought, why limit what our characters say to what's already in the books? Let's actually build out an entire language that people can communicate with.
When you're creating a language, you have a very strict goal that you set out at the beginning, whether it's to create a super realistic language or whether it's to create a language that's easy for people to communicate. And so if it's supposed to be a naturalistic, realistic language, you want to be able to dig into it and see that there's something there, that you can actually evaluate everything that you're hearing and seeing and say, yeah, you know what, that works the way that a natural language should.
I love David Peterson. He's so smart, and he approaches it from such a methodical, perfectionist way.
If it's a spoken language, I generally start with the sound system and then move on to the grammar, which I break down with the grammar of usually nouns first, then move on to the verbs. Nouns are simpler, and then after the nouns and verbs, decide if we're going to have things like, adjectives, if the adjectives are going to have inflection, if there's going to be manner adverbs that inflect, if there's going to be anything, kind of like anything like that, if there's going to be any type of adpositions, if they're going to inflect. After that's all done, then I can move on to derivation, which is how one word turns into another. So like electric becomes electricity. And then after that, just spend the next several decades working on vocabulary, since it takes that long.
So the first thing that he did is he went through all of the books, took all of the passages that were written in Elder, tried to find the accurate translations for all of them, and then he started to piece together an entire language.
When you're working with an established property, like the property with The Witcher, is that the fans have collected some of the stuff online, but I found usually the best place to go is the original books themselves, to see all the words that are there and specifically what kind of translations they've been given, to figure out not only just what the words are, but also how you think they might be pronounced and what grammar can be gleaned from the sentences that you got there.
Once you get into the middle of the season, there are entire scenes that are done in Elder Speak, so we're relying on it that much.
Hail, migrasha agarin.
Cyrilla, you are the lion cub of Sintra.
Why do you think she's not safe?